What's up, light bearers? Welcome to Light Tap, a Vivised podcast. My name is Melissa.
And I'm Emily.
And today we're talking about
fear.
Fear. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, man. Hey, this is our first podcast that we knowingly know.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing? We knowingly know. Whatever. It is a thing today that we are on Spotify.
Ooh.
I know, huh? When we started the podcast, we were only on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
But, I got it together. And now we're on Spotify as well. So, hey, Spotify listeners.
Hey.
This is a shout out for you guys. But today we're talking about fear. And we'll dive into as to why we want to talk about this. But first, we're going to read our Bible scripture. Remember, this is a light tap into this conversation. If you want to dive in deeper into the word, if you want to know a little bit more like the context of what was happening when the scripture was written, please do your homework. Open up your Bibles. Have time with the Holy Spirit. Ask him to reveal things that that he's going to reveal to you.
Mm-hmm.
And just do your own homework.
Yeah.
We're just having like a light conversation, you guys. So our Bible verse for today is John 16:33. Emily will read it in English and then I'll read it in Spanish.
It says, I've told you all this so that trusting me, you will be unshakable and assured, deeply at peace. In this godless world, you will continue to experience difficulties, but take heart, I've conquered the world.
En español es Juan 16:13, dice, les digo estas cosas para que estén unidos a mí y así sean felices de verdad. Pero tengan valor, yo he vencido a los poderes que gobiernan este mundo. All right, so we're talking about fear today.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I decided to bring this topic to the table was because, if you have a smartphone, if you are on social media, if you see the news, if you watch it on TV, if you're just living on this earth, you basically know that things are getting real.
Yeah.
Like real.
Real.
Like, cuando antes we will go to church and, preachers will say like, ya estamos en los últimos días.
They'll be like, the end of the world is near.
Yeah, I really believe the end of the world is near. Ahora sí.
Now you believe
Ahora
it.
Sí, ya no son rumors of war. Like, hello, we are seeing a real war happening, Ukraine versus Russia. We hear other rumors of war of like China and Taiwan and Israel and Iran. And it's just like knowing what's coming, right? If you have any insight, if you have read the Bible and things like that, you know that what's happening, it's not a coincidence. You know that what's happening, it's not like you didn't expect this to happen. It's more like we knew that this was going to happen. But the good thing about it is that we also know like that we have victory at the end.
Amen.
And so, but during that, we're still not at the end. we're still not at the victory part.
Not yet.
Still here.
We're still fighting the good fight.
Ajá. Y entonces, durante este proceso, it's where fear comes in.
Yeah.
And if I'm quite honest, I've been pretty open in this podcast about having like anxiety and stuff like that. And so I've been really anxious lately. I've been having a lot of fear because...
With everything going on.
Yeah, because I want to be in the know. Like, I want to know what's going on in the world. But I'm also like... I'm scared about it. I'm like, what if de repente something happens to us? Yes. Yeah. And so then it starts going out of control. But... Luckily, like this verse says, it doesn't promise that we're not going to go through situations. It doesn't promise that we're not ever going to face obstacles or face, ¿cómo se llama? Como
trials.
Adversidad. How do you say that in English? Adversities. It doesn't say that we're not going to face that. It says like, hey, you will, but take heart. Like, chill out. Like, you're good. I got you.
He's saying, even though you will go through all of this, even though you will have hard times, you can find peace in me.
Yes. Because I have conquered the world.
Yes.
Like, it's already said and done. Like, at the end of the day, if you're with me, we're the winning team, baby. Like,
regardless, you will come out in the winning end.
You will come out. Yeah. So how have you been feeling, Emily? during this time? Or like, are you really into it? Like, are you looking at it? I know that I send you stuff.
Yeah, you sent me stuff. You know, for as long as I can remember, you know, I've never liked history. Yeah. Not even in school. I've never liked history.
That's not one of your strongest subjects.
No, don't get me wrong. That was the one class I didn't have to try, and I got A's. but I hated that class. I don't know why. I just always hate. Well, not hate is a strong word. I always disliked hearing about problems, obstacles, things that went on in the real world. Yeah. Knowing that it happened and that so many people suffered, I didn't like hearing that. Till this day, I don't like watching the TV. I hear most of my news through, like you said, Instagram, through the radio. I listen to a lot of radio when I'm driving. And a lot of like news articles that people sent me. So I read it online, but I don't like to watch it on TV because that's when you get graphic pictures, videos, things like that. True.
Like you visually like lo miras.
Yeah, so things like that trigger me. But I do, like you said, I do like to be in the know, because even though you may not feel like this relates to you or that it applies to you, just because you're not experiencing it doesn't mean that you're not going to have something that will affect you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I've heard about it. I've seen a couple things, and you know, it's heartbreaking to see because you're like, dang, I wish I could help. I wish there was something that I can do. Yeah. And not being in that situation, you feel like, oh, well, helpless because, well, it's not happening to me, but it's happening to them. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And some people will feel like, oh, well, all I can do is feel some type of like compassion towards them. Like, oh, I feel bad, da, 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 da. But, you know, in the little that we can do is, you know, pray.
For sure.
Right? And especially because there's just so much going on, you know? Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, pray for those who have been affected, definitely. Well, I'm glad that it doesn't like affect you, honestly, because it has affected a lot of people. Like, I follow this one guy, which I send you a lot of information. He covers a lot of like different things that are happening in the world. And sometimes he writes like, okay, like, what do we need to pray about today? Or like, any questions? What are your thoughts? And a lot of people that write in, they say how they're scared. They're scared that they have kids and, you know, the world is acting like this and this is happening in the world. And or they're scared for themselves, or they don't know what to think, or like they're confused and all of these things. And so there's a lot of people who are being affected by these things. And it sucks because if you read the Bible, you kind of like, again, you know that this is not like a coincidence. You know that this is ya está escrito, es que va a pasar porque va a pasar. But at the same time, it's like when you're living it, it's like, dang, you never expected to live. I never expected
it to be in your lifetime.
Yes,
you're like, you know, it's gonna happen.
Like, you know, like okay, history class, right? Social studies, whatever. I te enseñan guerra que pasó like hace tiempo. Yeah, and you're like, well, that kind of sucked for y'all. But now you're like,
we've seen wars, we've seen movements, we've seen riots, we've seen states like shut down. Yeah. You know, people taking over where states become lawless. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like that one city up in the north, I forgot which city it was. But they went lawless for like a week or two, you know, nobody could enter that city. They had their own militia. Like, it was bad, you know, and that was recent, like maybe like almost a year ago, maybe, I want to say.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it was some type of movement that went on that became so hard. And I think this was during Trump's reign, right? And nobody could come in, nobody could get out. Well, Trump's presidency. Sorry, I was like Rain. Hold on. I'm in presidency. No, he was not our king. I'm in presidency, you guys. Sorry. But it was pretty bad, you know. And I can only think like, what would have happened here, you know?
Kids, crazy, hell no.
You know, kids wouldn't be able to go to school. We wouldn't be able to go to work. We wouldn't be able to do anything. So it's just crazy to think that it was so close to home.
No, you know? Like, yeah, por eso te digo, like, las cosas que estamos viviendo ahorita, that's some crazy stuff. Like, nobody really... I don't know, but yeah, we were not prepared. No. Even when, like, COVID just happened, like, we were not prepared. Like, everything shut down, and we were, like, so uncertain with so many things. And this is why it's so important for us to... continue to be close to God, to continue to have a relationship with Him, because I think that when you don't, in my case, Melissa, like this is my name is Melissa, and I know I have a problem.
Like, you know that regardless that everything in the world is chaos and uncertain, you know that in God, in Jesus Christ, you can find certainty.
Yes.
You can find peace.
Yes.
You can always find that stability that the world cannot offer you.
Yes.
You know?
And then if you don't have it, es porque, like, hello, hay un disconnect ahí.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
You're like, I'm aware.
Guilty.
I'm aware.
I am. So, I don't know. Like, this is, I mean, I have a child, and honestly, it kind of worries me, like, of, like, where we're headed. But at the same time, even, like, in the school system, so things that are being taught now, or laws that are being trying to pass, and things like that, I just don't know how I feel about them. I'm just like, I have to make some moves now with my kid to make sure that he still has those fundamental things that I want him to have, which are in the Lord. And so it's like there's the different kinds of fear, but I mean, we're thugging it out. You know, I really, like, this week, I was really, like, just stressed and, again, filled with anxiety. And I remember that I told my son, I was like, hey, we're going to go on the patio. And él estaba en una hamaca and I was in the other one. And I remember that I was just like, I'm going to put my phone far away from me to where I'm not tempted to touch it and, like, just scroll. And I'm going to put some worship music, which I haven't done in a while. Like, a while. And, like, when I try to do that, I got, like, messages because I still have my watch. And it was somebody who was asking me for something and I hadn't done, and I was like, oh, I should do this thing.
And you go stressing.
And I was just like, como que the Holy Spirit, honestly, in that moment, I felt like, no, don't get up.
This is my time.
This is my time. Like, you left your phone away from you, like, purposely.
For a reason.
Like, porque you said that you were going to spend time with me. And this was just like a little test.
Yeah.
To see if you will run back to your phone or if you would spend time with me. And so I didn't. I was like, whatever, I'm not going to pay attention to this. I'll get to this. Yes, but I'll get to it later. Like, this is not my priority. And so I remember, like, I would just pray to God, and I was just telling him, like, Lord, I feel so anxious. I feel fear right now. I'm afraid. I'm scared of what's going on in the world. I'm scared that this war could come, could come over here. Like, hello, like, han hablado pláticas de eso. And, like, I'm afraid. And so I'm like, I want your peace, and I want your love, and I want to be bold, and I want to be fearless. And so when I tell you that, like, I was just, like, had an honest and open conversation using my own words, and at the end of the prayer, like, I cried and everything. Like, I don't want to show ahí, but at the end of it, like, I felt tremendous peace. That I was just like, this is the part where it says like, but take heart. Like, yes, you can come to me with all your fears. I'll take it because you're human. But at the end of the day, cuando tú me lo das, es como un exchange. Tú me das whatever is causing you that fear, whatever is causing that anxiety, and in return, I'm going to give you peace. And so this is where you, like, take heart. I'm like, okay, ya estoy más tranquila. Because I know that at the end of the day, he has conquered the world.
Yeah.
That if I'm on his team,
you gotta hand it over, though. You can't just, like, be like, here, take it. And you're like, take it. Let go, leave it there.
And so that is exactly what I did. Yes, now I'm like, okay, I want to be in the know. But then that also means that my relationship with Jesus has to be solid.
Yeah.
But I can continue to take heart. So, we are going to read, our segment, Am I the Asshole?
You already know.
You already know.
We love this episode. Okay. It says, am I the asshole for wanting to tell my roommate that I don't feel safe with her boyfriend's dog around because I have a fear of dogs? Okay. So, Melissa, we both have dogs,
And okay,
You do have dogs.
Yeah, no, yes. But I was going to say we both have fear, but I'm not sure if you have fear of dogs.
So, you've had dogs for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I have too. But your dogs are more like your husband's dogs. You love them from a distance.
One of them.
I love dogs, whether I'm near or far. I've had my fair share of dogs.
Yeah.
You know. So I've had all types of dogs, all types of sizes live with me. But I had one instance when I didn't have a dog, and it was just me and my family. And there was this one time when I went running. It wasn't too late. It was late, but it wasn't too late. I went running in my neighborhood, and it was like maybe like 8:30 at night. Yes, I shouldn't have been running around that time. Yeah, that's it. But I hadn't. It was back in the days when I really felt like, no, I need to work out, and I would work out every day.
Yeah.
Whether it was light or not, I would always run. And I remember I was like, okay, just a quick 30-minute run, you know? And normally I always carry my keys with me. I always have like a key in each finger, like a knuckle. Yeah, so, but this time I didn't. It was either that or carry a stick, but I just didn't that time. I don't know why. I don't remember why. But I remember I ran pretty far, and I kind of like took a break. I was kind of like jog walking.
Okay.
Where I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to do it anymore. So I was going to start going back to my house, and I see these two pit bulls come up to me. They were walking in the street where I was jogging. Because they were coming towards me, I was like, okay, let me go to the other side of the street. I don't want to get in their way.
Yeah.
And I wasn't paying attention. It was dark.
I would have freaked the hell out.
I didn't freak out. Normally I would go up to them and try to pet them.
Hell no. Absolutely
Random dogs with no people around. I didn't even notice if they had collars or not. But I was just like, let's be smart. Let's go around, right?
I'm stressing.
Let's go around. I wasn't even running. I was like speed walking. And no lie, these two pit bulls came up and ran after me. And when I saw them come after me, I was like, oh, hell no. Let me turn around. Let me make sure I'm facing them. So I start jogging backwards. And I'm like, I'm not taking my eyes off of you. I want to make sure that I'm looking at you and you're not attacking me. And if you are going to attack me, I want to make sure I can hit you where it hurts, so where I can get away, right? Because they didn't come at me all friendly. They come at me like barking and growling. So I knew something was about to go down.
Those are some fighting sounds.
Where I was just like, okay, this is not no nice little dog. So I'm jogging backwards as fast as I can, and they're straight up attacking.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And there was a small little one that looked like it was a girl, and then the other one was a little bigger. So I was like, okay, this is the guy. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not trying to get at them, but I think he's trying to defend her. So I hit one car, and they started going on my legs. So I started running even faster, and I hit a big truck. I try to jump backwards as fast as I can, but as I'm going up, they get both of my legs. They bite my legs as hard as they can. They broke some skin, and I was like, okay, this is it. And I climb onto the hood of the car, and they're still trying to get at me. And at this point, I'm terrified in fear. They bite me, and I'm just like, this is it. I'm gonna die. And you know how exaggerated I am, right?
No, I would have thought the same thing. No me importa.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay up here. I don't know whose car this is, but I'm gonna stay up here. And the whole time I'm screaming. I'm thinking I'm gonna scream as loud as I can, and hopefully some neighbors come out. Not one person came out of the house. Not one person. And there was this one, he wasn't like a little boy. I could tell he was like a teenager, maybe 13, 14 years old. He's walking his dog like nothing's wrong. And I'm just staring at him.
Like, hello,
I'm like, hello. But the dogs run off. And at this point, I'm in shock. My whole body feels cold and hot at the same time, obviously.
Yeah.
And he walks back and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, clearly, I'm not okay, sir. And he's like, were those your dogs? I'm like, did you really think those were my dogs and they're attacking me? I'm like, no, they were not my dogs. Anyways, I made it home, but it was such a traumatizing experience, you know, knowing that something that was out of my control
and something that you love, because you love animals, like basically betrayed you.
Basically, and I remember in the moment, I was like freaking out. I was like, damn, freaking stupid dogs, like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I remember coming into work the next morning, and I had texted my boss, which was Melissa.
Yeah.
I think I texted you in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you did.
I told her, hey, I might be a little late to work tomorrow, but I'm gonna try to come in. FYI, I've been attacked by dogs. And she was like, what? Oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, they bit me. She's like, oh, okay. She wasn't thinking it was a big deal.
I did it because you were like, I'm coming into work. Let me tell you something. If they would have bitten me, I'm like, I'm going to the emergency room. Call 911 right now.
So I'm walking into my office and I'm waddling like a little penguin. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And Melissa's like, are you okay? You're exaggerating. It wasn't that bad. So I showed them where the bites were, and it's literally, my legs looks twice their size.
Oh my God.
It was
like
bad,
horrible.
to the point that like my boss, which was a doctor, he was like, no, you need to go see the doctor downstairs. You need to get a shot.
PCP,
Yeah, you need to get this treated. And I'm over here like, no, I'm okay. And the doctor's like,
no,
you're not gonna have a dog ever again. I was like, no, it's okay. I just will never have pit bulls. And he's like, don't you hate dogs? I'm like, no, like it happened, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because it was something that was out of my control, and it wasn't my fault, and it wasn't the dog's fault. It was probably the person who let them out.
Yeah.
That didn't chain them, that it was their fault.
Yeah.
I don't know where they came from. I don't know whose dogs they were. But I got treatment,
Yeah.
And sometimes I look at it this way. Sometimes things happen out in the world that you have no control. You have no say in the matter. But there's things that you can do to protect yourself,
For sure.
And
it's crazy because you did not let that fear paralyze you. Like,
No.
I have 2 pit bulls. And you still come over and you still love my dogs. And you know what I mean? Like, okay, me, I had one experience with a dog.
Uh-huh.
This was not a big dog at all. It was like a chihuahua.
It's a tiny chihuahua.
But this is why I'm afraid of any dog. If it's not my dog, I'm afraid. Okay. But it was because like we were like, I was like 7 or 8, maybe the most 10 years old, and we were going to the metro stop with my mom, or we were getting off the metro. No me acuerdo. No, I think we were getting off the metro because we were walking to my house, and this dog came out of nowhere. It scared me. It scared me, and like the dog no estaba haciendo nada, but it scared me so much that I started running. The dog thought it was playing with me, so it starts running after me. And so I'm like running like, ¿y por qué te ves ahí? And all of a sudden the dog, I think it turned from like we're playing to where like, I want to bite you. And it like bit my ankle, but like bien poquito. I mean, it was a chihuahua, right?
Uh-huh.
But the fact that it bit my ankle, I was like
dying. Feelings, like,
yes, and I was like, I will never again look at a dog the same. And you see, like, I go to my friend's house or whatever, like I'm around like other dogs, and I'm just like, I understand that you say that they're the nicest dogs. I understand that they might be little. I understand that they might be big but not aggressive. I understand all of these things. But in my brain, it's like, they're getting ready to attack you.
Do not get close to me. Do not touch me.
No me
don't
huelas,
me.
nada. And so I will act a fool. But, and it has paralyzed me.
Yeah.
From even going to my friend's house, because I'm like, I don't want to act like that with my friend.
Yeah.
I don't want them to feel like because if somebody would act like that with me, I would kind of be like, but my dogs are really nice. Like, what are you doing? Why are you acting like that?
Yeah.
So I don't want them to be in that same situation. So luckily, you did not get paralyzed by fear. And you're still able to come over and touch my dog. So, do we think that this person is an asshole for telling their roommate that they do not feel safe with her boyfriend's dog around?
Because they're afraid of their dogs.
Because they're afraid of dogs. We haven't read the story, but what do you think so far?
I don't think she's the asshole. I don't think it's such a big deal for the friend to be like, take her dogs into her room or like in the backyard if it is a house. I don't know if it's a house or an apartment. To accommodate the other person because they're cohabitating in the same house.
Yeah.
We don't know the situation. We haven't read the story, but I think it's not a big deal. In my opinion.
So you think that they're all the assholes for wanting to even talk about it?
I don't think they're the asshole. I don't think anyone's the asshole right now.
Right now, okay. Yeah. I think that no, they're not the asshole. Just from me in the head, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Just because it says for wanting to tell my roommate, so just wanting to express how they're
like
feeling.
They're concerned.
Yeah, I don't think that they're that asshole. Anytime that you want to express anything to anybody, that how you're feeling towards something that they're doing, speak up.
Now, if the other person, if the roommate doesn't want to acknowledge that person's feelings, now
that's
they're
a
the
different
asshole.
story. Yeah,
that's a different story.
So we'll see.
Okay,
we'll
let's
see what
read
happens.
it.
Let's read it.
Okay, so it says, I want to tell my roommate that I don't feel safe when her boyfriend's dog is around, but I'm scared of how she will react and if this is appropriate of me to do so. So this is not her dog.
It's not even the friend's dog or her roommate's dog. It's her boyfriend's dog.
It says.
So visiting dog.
Yes, visiting dog. The dog is fairly big and barks the moment he senses my presence.
He knows you scared.
So the moment I open the door to my room, whenever he barks, my heart starts racing. I always get locked in my room as I don't have the guts to go downstairs.
Same
where the
girl.
dog
We'll be right there with you.
usually is, which essentially makes it hard for me to leave the house when the dog is there or even go to the kitchen for food. I tried working on a compromise by asking her to take the dog to her room whenever I need to go cook or leave the house, and while she complies, she tends to get annoyed too. My main argument here is that the reason I decided to move into this house was because our landlord had given me a guarantee that there would be no pets. It's written in our contract, and we aren't allowed to have pets, and not even pets that belong to others. That's why I figured this house might be a safe option for me. I tried bearing it and seeing if I can wait it out, but now it's getting to be too much, especially as I feel anxious coming to my house, which is a feeling I wish I didn't associate with my house, at least. If I tell her that I'm not okay with the dog being at home, would I be an asshole?
No, absolutely not. No.
That was a fast response.
No. Do you think that she's an asshole?
I don't think so. The only thing she said was like, would I be an asshole if I express my feelings? If I ask her, like, hey, like
we have a conversation about this,
you know? And
I think it's just so messed up, honestly. Porque mira, aquí dice de que like first thing is that's not even her roommate's dog. That's her boyfriend's dog. The dog is not in the house all the time. It's her boyfriend's dog or whatever. And then it's like he's literally doing something that makes her feel uncomfortable, which is barking. And
in her own home.
In her own home. Like, she can't even go downstairs to get some food. Imagínate que she was like, she woke up late. She slept in or lo que sea. And all of a sudden the dog is there. She can't go have breakfast.
Yeah.
And then when she tries to tell the roommate, like, okay, she's like, let's compromise, right? Aquí hay dos personas, tú eres una persona, yo soy una persona, let's compromise, whatever. Like, at least take the dog
into
your room while I get to do XYZ, right? And you're getting annoyed of that? Excuse me. I could be like, you know what?
Let me snitch on the landlord.
Ring, landlord.
There's a dog in here. Kick her out.
It's part of the contract.
You know?
But she's not doing that. And then to even question, like, should we even have a conversation? That's like, pobrecita, I feel so bad for her.
I know.
Like, your house is like the place where you want to feel
And I feel
peace.
like she's even having second doubts just because she's like, if she's getting annoyed that I'm telling her to take her dog into her room, how annoyed or how upset is she going to be if I tell her, hey, I don't want the dog here.
At all.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm also living here and you're living here, but the dog is not even yours. It's your boyfriend's.
Yeah.
You know, and technically the dog is not supposed to be there. Yeah. You know, she specifically chose this house because there was a contract saying that there was no pets allowed. And for her to even have this fear of associating it with her own home, where it's supposed to be like, oh, I come home, I can rest now from a long day of work. And she can't even do that. She's living in a constant state of fear. You know?
Yes. Yes.
That sucks
That
so much.
sucks because that's the last thing that you want to feel like going into your house.
Yeah.
Like, you know, again, it's robbing you of your peace.
Exactly.
And it's a dog. Oh man, this first comment that we have here, it says, I'm not the asshole, I'm a big dog lover, but I fully understand when people are scared, and dogs can sense that. Remember?
Exactly.
So it's uncomfortable for the human and the dog. Everybody's stressed out.
Yeah, both parties.
Yeah, and you know, when a dog senses that you're afraid or whatever, and then they get stressed out, then that's when a situation can happen. And what if it does happen? Then that's a whole different ball game. Like, it's just best to even have that conversation. Also, is your roommate's boyfriend roommate's boyfriend a tenant or just staying there? you are paying bills.
Exactly.
You should be fully comfortable to do whatever you want whenever you want, which is like going downstairs to get some food. Regardless if the boyfriend is also paying the tenant, it sounds like the lease you signed said pets aren't allowed. So maybe you have to remind the roommate you're not contractually obligated to continue living there with the dog if there can't be which again we were talking about, right? It's like all about the contract. Like this was established way before she even moved in. Like,
exactly.
Hey, this is gonna be a safe space for me. She like specifically looked for a place where she could be, that there wasn't gonna be something that caused her fear, and now here she is. So I think just overall, like, no.
You know, and I think you can relate this to real life, you know, where out there in society, there are rules established for certain areas, things that people can and cannot do, you know, and there's no guarantee that people will do what the rules say, regardless whether they're established in paper, or if there are laws. People will do as they please. And it's up to you to let that bother you or not. You know, there was a contract here for this housing, and clearly the tenant didn't really care, you know, for the other person's feelings.
So,
and it's up to us to take action, you know.
To take action is like have a conversation with that person that makes you feel to that is responsible for causing you fear, and then go to your landlord. And the same way that you were saying, like in life we're gonna go through situations that are gonna cause us fear, right? Unfortunately, we cannot tell Ukraine and Russia like, hey, can y'all stop the war because I'm afraid? But what I can do is I can go to the landlord. I can go into my Lord,
exactly,
and I can say, hey God, I'm feeling afraid because of this and this and this. Can you help me out? And he can assure me like, hey, in the contract it says that I have overcome the world. Relax.
Exactly.
So this is our fear podcast. Again, we want to emphasize that yes, you know, no, like the Lord did not say like, hey, you're gonna be exempt from situations happening. You're gonna be exempt from like really bad things happening. But just take heart, have that trust, have that conviction in your heart to know that God has you, that he takes care of you, that he protects you, that he covers you, and that he has overcome the world. Like you don't have to like try to figure it out or come up with solutions. Like at the end of the day, he is a solution. We will have victory. You just have to stay close to him. We want to encourage you that if you are feeling this fear, to just, you know, stay in prayer, read the word, even if it's a Bible verse a day, like read it, just so that you can have that living word
exactly
in your mind and in your heart, and then pray to God, like tell him straight up how you feel, and just see how he takes, like how he makes that little like como se dice, like that exchange. They can like, you give him your fears, and then he gives you his peace.
And that way, when you do go through things and you do feel uncertain and you do feel fear, you can go based off of your past experiences, the word that you have learned, and that trust that you have built with God, to be like, oh, I'm going through this struggle, I'm going through this obstacle, but I know God got me.
Exactly.
He already got me once, he can get me again. You know, and that's how you can overcome that fear, you know, as long as you learn to depend on him and rely on him, where you feel like you can give all your worries, all your concerns, hand over that, you know, this trust, and be like, I can completely trust in you, to where the point where I can feel peace.
For sure. And so hopefully you guys enjoy this podcast. That is it for this one, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.